Clutching a stack of papers, the maid walked into the living room. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the tension like a knife. "I'm the one you all treated like I was invisible," she announced. "And I have enough evidence to send you all to prison. 3 months ago, no one would have believed a housekeeper could bring down a billion-dollar empire. It all began the night her mistress knelt before her, wiping a spot of blood from the floor. In that instant, she understood that blood was a warning. When people mentioned the Hawthorns, they thought of the 4-story wine cellar, the 2 yachts waiting at a private dock, and the diamond-encrusted plaque on the main gate that read, Legacy 1873. Not to mention their $2.7 billion fortune and the title of the city's greatest philanthropists. Under the crystal chandeliers, everything sparkled. But down in the kitchen, as a microwave hummed late one night, Lena overheard her boss Camilla whispering to her lawyer, "We need a new will within the week, or my brother-in-law will swallow the entire inheritance." Lena just wanted to collect her paycheck to send home to her mother, but those words, "1 week," buzzed in her ear like a death knell, not for Camilla, but for those Camilla called her puppets. Last week, the family's great-uncle collapsed in the rose garden after a sip of Earl Grey tea. "Acute heart failure," the doctor said. 2 weeks ago, the youngest son, Richard, drove his Porsche off a cliff. Accident due to speeding, the police concluded. 3 weeks ago, the beautiful movie star-like daughter, Vivian, was hospitalized for a stress disorder and given an overdose of sleeping pills. Lena started to notice a pattern after each accident. Camilla would place a new vial of medicine in her room and instruct Lena to dispose of the trash carefully. A red vial, heart medication. A blue vial, barbiturates. A white vial, a substance that causes cardiac arrhythmia. She wasn't a doctor, but her own mother had a heart condition, so she recognized the labels. She secretly jotted it all down in an old notebook. April 8th, 10 p.m. Camilla put the pills in the old man's tea. The writing was as small as a needlepoint. The old will 60% to Vivian, 25% to Richard, 10% to charity, and 5% to be split among the long-serving staff. If those 3 disappeared, 95% of the fortune would fall into the hands of Camilla, the daughter-in-law with no blood ties. Her husband Daniel was left with a measly 2% ceremonial share after signing away his inheritance rights following a mysterious skiing accident with his father years ago. One evening, while cleaning, Lena found a crumpled gum wrapper in Camilla's trash. Inside was a small note, "Meet Rowan the lawyer, 9 a.m., change the will." She photographed it and sent it to a burner email account, Witness L. She had no one to turn to in their world except for the security guard Leo, who had once given her a ride home in the rain. "Send it to me," Leo said. "If you don't get the chance, I'll bring it to light." It sounded like something out of a movie, but Leo was an ex-soldier. She trusted him. On the morning of April 15th, Camilla summoned Lena to the main drawing room. The crystal lights cast a warm glow as Camilla smiled and pushed an envelope across the table. A 30% raise in exchange for signing this non-disclosure agreement. Inside was a legally binding document. If Lena spoke a word, she'd owe them $500,000 more than 10 times her annual salary. "Your mother needs her dialysis treatments," Camilla said softly. "Don't make things harder on yourself." Lena didn't sign. That night, she heard footsteps in the hall. A shadow fell across her pillow, and a slip of paper was left behind. "Talk, and your mother won't live to see tomorrow." Gritting her teeth, Lena turned on a voice recorder and pinned a mini camera to a button on her uniform. On April 20th, Camilla told Lena to prepare almond milk for her grandchild, the next heir in line, if Vivian didn't make it. Lena watched as her mistress secretly sprinkled a white powder into the glass. "Does it need more sugar, ma'am?" "No, just a little extra calcium." The camera recorded everything. Leo received the file. After drinking the milk, the child began vomiting violently and was hospitalized for mild food poisoning. The doctor called it an allergic reaction. In front of the news cameras, a tearful Camilla announced a $1 million donation to the children's hospital. Lena was trembling. If that child died with Vivian on her deathbed and Richard already gone, Camilla would become the sole guardian and the entire trust would be under her control. Leo sent a text. "That's enough. Meet me in the garage." At 9 p.m. on April 22nd, the underground garage was deserted. Leo handed her a USB drive. "I hacked the security cameras at the law firm. They backdated the will." He opened a laptop, revealing compiled evidence, the batch number on the heart medication matching the vial used on the great-uncle, Camilla's fingerprints on the tea tray, emails ordering the drugs from a private server. 4 copies of the USB labeled Legacy Truth were made. "There's a family meeting tomorrow," Leo said. "That's our moment." Lena's heart pounded like a war drum. April 23rd. In the 200-year-old oak boardroom, all 40 seats were filled. Camilla, dressed in elegant black, held up a leather-bound document. "According to the amended will signed on April 21st, I am the sole executor." A second uncle shot to his feet. "A daughter-in-law is going to devour the entire clan." The large screen behind them flickered to life, showing Camilla sprinkling the powder, the lawyer backdating the document, and a voice recording of Camilla saying, "The child doesn't need to grow up." The family was stunned. Camilla lunged at Leo, but only grasped at empty air. Lena stepped forward, her voice shaking but clear. "I may be just a maid, but I am also a human being. Cold blood cannot triumph over what is right." The police swarmed in, handcuffing Camilla in front of her relatives. She screamed and cried, her perfect makeup smeared across her face. The forged will was seized. The court sentenced her to 30 years for murder fraud and child endangerment. The Hawthorns sold off shares to pay damages. Their fortune remained immense, but their reputation was forever tarnished. Lena refused the 5% share designated for the staff. She donated it to the Peace Fund, a charity for her mother and other pediatric cardiology patients. The media nicknamed her the maid who toppled a dynasty. A reporter asked, "Aren't you afraid of retaliation?" Lena smiled. "I was only afraid that if I stayed silent, my mother would never see justice." The story is over, but the lesson remains. Those at the bottom don't need to change their station in life. They just need to stand up straight. If you think Lena was brave, hit that like button and share this story so that justice isn't just something we see in the movies. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next day. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it.